All right, I'm here with Alexocrypto. He's one of our best MC influencers. This is our latest trader spotlight, our market cipher trader spotlight. Alexocrypto. He's a man for others in the space. He has a free I wouldn't even call it a VIP. It's a free VIP Discord that he's got where he gives market cipher TA, trade calls in the crypto space. This guy does videos and live streams every weekday. Do you do weekends too, man, or is it just the
Um,
weekdays?
Mostly weekdays, but I do jump on for a Sunday candle close every now and then. So
Got you. Nice.
we
So he
try
does
we
the
try to
extra
keep
credit.
people updated.
He does the extra credit too, man. And so Alexocrypto caught our eye because of his character. He posts his shorts with his grandpa that are so amusing. He does good analysis. He has a steady flow state with Market Cipher, and his trades are killer, man. He's a lord of altcoins, and the fact that he provides all these things for free to his following really caught our eye, man. So here we have a man for others in the space, which is rare in a space of mostly selfish, prideful people who are just in it to milk you for your last dollar. You have someone here who has very strong opinions on trading ethics, crypto ethics, crypto influencer ethics, and you have a friendly guy here. Sometimes a goofball, with his otter gang stuff, and he's the Alexocrypto, I know you got big ideas, man. I know like what drives you is
Yes.
a yearning to help, to teach, to educate, and to inspire, man. So thanks for coming on the channel, man.
No, I appreciate it, man. The kind words are much appreciated. Yeah, because I definitely have some goals, some long term goals, and helping people is one of them, right? So I think getting brought on by Market Cipher and having the opportunity to demonstrate what I've learned and help others to really create that sense of freedom and that life of freedom, away from the 9 to 5, and that is obviously a privilege that I've been able to create for myself, and then I just feel like it's almost like a must that I have to give it away, right?
Yeah, and honestly, I'm really grateful that I'm able to sit here in my shoes over on this side of things and say that like we provided this bridge for you to do this for people. Market Cipher is kind of like a bridge for my family. When we got into the investing world, we saw this chasm between the common man and success in investing, and so we sought to make our own tools, our own way of doing things, our own way of talking about the markets, and to have it get to this point where we have this whole family of influencers, traders, artists, all this stuff, and it's like its own thriving ecosystem. To see it all working and churning and just working out and doing great is a blessing. And so before we get into the charts, Alex, tell me
Yeah.
have you always had this strong idea about freedom and like when you discovered crypto, was it like an aha moment, man? Like that kind of tied
It
it all
was
together.
pretty wild, man. Like for me it was one of those spam ads, Michael Saylor get Bitcoin kind of things, and I was doing a deep dive, and I'm like, okay, I want to create financial literacy because nobody I felt in my family really had it. So it was me scouring the internet, looking at like the S&P 500 8% returns year over year. I'm like, that's not fast enough. What is this Bitcoin thing? Getting into trading, finding Market Cipher, and developing that from a long term time horizon. So like for me, it was really interesting. I'm a carpenter by trade. I'm uh like I've gone through school. I've gone 12 years carpentry. I've built industrial formwork, thrown up skyscrapers. I can frame a house, all that stuff. So I've gone through my full apprenticeship and all that. And in the
Hmm.
construction game, you make great money. However, you come home, you're exhausted, and your time is just stripped away from you, right? So for me, it was okay. I have a skilled trade, which is valuable, but how can I free up time, right? And I saw this trading thing, and for me, it was like a no-brainer to teach myself and just kind of have that tunnel vision. Put the blinders on and learn a new skill. And by doing that, I've developed this skill where I've been able to go trading full time with the help of obviously my Market Cipher and trading Bitcoin.
That's so interesting that you came from that construction background, man. I didn't know that about you. And it's an industry that you'd think would have nothing to do with trading, but just off the top of my head, like I'm picturing just that you're a builder, that you construct things, and it's just like how I was talking about how MC is a bridge, like for our community, like you yourself are building a bridge, you're building structure for regular people or common. I don't think they're regular. I think all our students are exceptional. Like when I actually talk to them, all these people are exceptional in our community to even be able to learn this stuff.
Yeah.
But that's what you're doing. You're still building. You're still building infrastructure for people to be able to, it's basically like as time goes on, like we're building a foundation for people. And you've also got, I'm sure, leadership skills and working on a team, like completing a mission. A lot of the things translate over, I'm sure.
Yeah, they have for sure.
Yeah.
Like I've worked with a lot of tough nosed hard tradesmen, right? So I think it's known that you got to go into it with determination and that kind of like don't let your feelings get hurt. And also in building a house, it's a step by step process, right? So it's very easy for me to apply that process into trading with first like risk management, support and resistance, like developing those layers in order to have a full package, like a full house kind of build completed. Now that I can add my systems to the charts and make profits from them, right?
That's holy crap. Yeah, we have a literal tool belt. Yeah, it's like we literally have, it's like when do you pull out the hammer? When do you pull out the drill? When do you do this and that? And there is a form. It's like it may seem daunting, but as you do it, it's just you are simply just doing what must be done at each increment and each step of the process. And so it's actually not complicated. You just have to have that vision of the final product. And so yeah, that translates greatly into trading. Having future visions of how things in your life should be. What are you gonna? It's not about the money. It's like what are you gonna do with the money? What are you gonna do with your successful trading career? Like if you can think about those things, then your likelihood of building that for yourself is way higher. And yeah, the job is not done until the project is finished. There is no quitting this. So
Absolutely.
such good insights, man. And that's a really humble, that's a really humble gig. Yeah, I don't even want to say gig. That's humble work. It's hard work, but it's meaningful work. And the lessons of Bitcoin, like the halvening teaches, like energy spent and electricity spent, like has meaning in our mind. It actually causes us to value Bitcoin more. The more electricity goes into things, and so that hard work, those years of hard work, that they have meaning, man.
Yeah, they definitely paid off, man.
100%. I can see it in your character.
Yeah, it's old school mentality, right? Like I think that's the thing too. It's like that persistence of figuring it out. Like trading wasn't easy off the beginning, and it's not meant to be easy. Anything worth doing is not meant to be easy. So, I mean, being disciplined in the sense of like starting off with $100 account and $1,000 account and blowing it a couple times, you know what I mean? And keep pushing, right? And being disciplined there. Eventually starting to make gains and starting to have a strategy and starting to be able to read the market and the sentiment of the market and going from there has been a blessing, right? But I think the underlying thing was being disciplined enough to learn and to have an honest self-appraisal. I always talk about this with my trading group, is to be able to look at yourself honestly and be like, okay, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing right? And how can I be better? And by doing that, you get to profit from it, right? Because they talk about it, like a business who doesn't kind of take a look at themselves under the hood typically goes broke, right? So for me, I wanted to be like, okay, maybe my entry was poor there, or maybe I'm chasing price here, and vice versa, right? And I even saw CF saying, as long as we're sticking to our rules, we're always bang on, right? So it's amazing how discipline comes into trading so largely when we're on the charts and trying to become profitable traders.
Would you say trading is gambling, or would you say that like trading is a skill that you learn and eventually you see the magic of it happening once you get to a certain point in the education?
I think initially people are gambling, right? People are gambling, getting a feel for it. Even me, I was gambling. But as you develop an edge, as you develop a strategy, you start to put probabilities in your favor. Nobody's going to be 100%. However, for me, like I'm hitting like 70 to 80% success rate, and I'm able to share those trade setups not only with Bitcoin but other altcoins too with my community. But it's also knowing how to read the charts. So like when am I invalidated, right? When am I going to take profits and get out of the trade, right? So knowing how to read the charts and working from there is going to be crucial to longevity in the game, because you're not always going to be right, but you can always manage your risk, and you can always manage your positions, and you can always manage yourself, right? So if you're able to do that, I would say, like, if you have a good strategy and a risk to reward ratio that's, 2.5, 3-1 ratio, and you're letting your wins run, and you're letting your stops, not moving your stops and things like that, that this is a profitable business. But it takes a lot of discipline, and it takes a lot of practice to get there, right? Because a lot of the time, like when I was new to trading, I'd be chasing price, I get stopped out, or I wouldn't set a stop loss. I'd move my stop loss lower because I think it's going to go one way, when really I'm just losing more money, right? So it's adding to your longs, right? How many people add to their winning trades? Not a lot, right? So
Not many, yeah.
it's a very different kind of psychological mindset, just like investing is. You want to buy low and sell high. Well, that's easy to think, right? When everybody thinks it's going to go to 12K and it's sitting at 16K. Did you buy Bitcoin rates? That's the questions you got to ask yourselves, right? I always talk to my community and tell them, when a red day is occurring, that's like Boxing Day, right? That's the kind of mindset you have to have. It's like a sale, right? Instead of like, oh no, it's doom and gloom, we're crashing, right? It's a very different kind of psychology when you're looking at trading, right? It's almost inverse.
It really is, man, and the risk management aspect is so important. That's something that you have to layer on top of Market Cipher. Like, there's more to trading than just Market Cipher, but also Market Cipher can help your win rate. Like once you form the idea, if you've got a good like wave reading, it really ups your the win rate, having those waves down there. But risk management was something that I had to. That was the valley of knowledge that I was missing, and so when I got into trading. I had a lot of technical knowledge. You can be a charting wizard, but if you don't understand the risk management aspect, like letting good trades ride, and then also not doubling down in big shit bags, like learning how to snip the bad trades, and it teaches you a lesson about life. It teaches you life lessons about letting good situations ride and continuing to fuel and put energy into things that work and things that are positive and going well. And then things that are negative, like move away from those things, whether it's people, places, or things. Things that are negative and deleterious, like you want to move away and disengage from those trades, those people, those situations. And so learning to trade, learning risk management in the charts, I don't know about you, Alex, but it's helped me to have risk management in my own life. I surround myself by better people. I find myself in better places. And
Absolutely.
yeah, it's great.
It's a company you keep, right? You're that direct reflection. That's why I'm so, I'm all about giving away this my setups and all that stuff for free in my Discord. But my number one rule is you can't be a douchebag, right? Like, we want to have good, positive people who are here to learn here, and we all use a Market Cipher, and we're all trying to get better, right? And I think a collective knowledge of good people is way stronger than just one individual yelling at you across from a screen trying to teach you, right? Because I've learned so much from my community and vice versa, right? And bouncing those ideas really helps keep the lights on in all aspects of trading, right? Like even today, someone came up with like a crazy Market Cipher analysis on predicting a black swan event, right? And I think he was talking to you, and he's my main mod, right? And we keep each other informed on these things, and by doing that, it gives us an even greater edge because we have a community that's doing the same thing. And I think the Market Cipher community is the best, right? And it may be sounding biased, but I wasn't part of the Market Cipher community. Market Cipher found me, and I fell in love with Market Cipher, and then I was found by you guys, right? And it's been a blessing ever since.
Thank you, man. Yeah, we're more than just indicators. We're different than a lot of like script sellers out there. That's not what we are. We have a bustling community. We're here we put our names and faces and our whole being behind this stuff. We're here every day using the service that we offer. And I love that we have a community that can everyone's putting their heads together, because there's so much to this. This is bigger than you and me, man. There's things that I miss every day. There's coins that come out that with setups on Market Cipher that are amazing, that it's impossible to pay attention to it all, because it's just this endless rabbit hole, man.
Yeah,
So
man.
I need this community. I learn every day from my own people. In fact, like the concerning signs in the traditional markets, like the uninverting yield curve and things like that, like that's not things that I poured over charts and found. Like these are things that
Mm.
my people and my VIP have pointed out to me. So I really take very little of the credit for like how far I've come in my trading career. Everything I've done has been off the shoulders of giants. Like I wouldn't be on the treadmill if it wasn't for Jason Casper, and I wouldn't even be taking risks like in this market if it wasn't for my brother and just the people
Mm.
in the community. Like I said, like I always say, the common man getting into Bitcoin and stuff, like, but that's just a colloquial term. Like I think really highly of the people who use this tool. Like you got to be smart to use it. It's definitely not easy. Like my brother says, like anyone can do it, just like how anyone could be an astronaut if you wanted to,
Yeah, man.
But in reality, this is a tough tool. It takes some skill. So tell me, like,
Hmm.
what signs do you look for in Market Cipher to plan a trade? Like, because you post a lot of setups in your Discord, man. So what are the
Yeah.
consistent signs that you're looking for?
So market cipher. For me, it's like I first off, you got to identify what kind of trader you are. So me, I'm pretty much on the 15-minute in and out, getting paid, and I'm done. Like this morning, I took a Bitcoin trade real quick here. I saw the exhaustion coming up here. And I jumped into a long and I got out here. Like that was my trade this morning. Made my $800 done for the day kind of deal. So like I'm pretty intraday, but I can show you what leads up to this, and
Yeah.
it's very very simple on Market Cipher for me. And it's all with VWAP, momentum, and money flow, right? So it's understanding how they work and how they work together, right? So like whenever I'm trying to explain Market Cipher to someone, I'm like, go back and learn how to use the Alt V, right? So Alt V gives you a vertical line, right? And mark out things that you're looking for, money flow crossovers, right? VWAP crossovers. The VWAP crossover is like my favorite with Market
And you're
Cipher.
talking
So
about the
I'm
yellow
always,
oscillator. You're talking about that yellow
yeah,
line down there. Yeah,
the
man, it's
yellow
such a
line over
good,
here,
nice
right?
little
So
leading. Yeah, it's
it's
leading.
so quick, right? And then you have your momentum waves, which are kind of medium, and then you have your long kind of trend with the money flow. And the money is always king, right? Money flow is always king. But I'm looking to predict the future, right? And this sounds crazy and woo woo and all that stuff, but like you look at a VWAP crossover here and you look like a VWAP crossover here on the 3 day, right? So we can see massive money coming into the market. Very, very simple. But I'm looking to front run this VWAP crossover as I am today, trying to explain to my community that I'm trying to front run this so I can see predictively, and then I will go into shorter term timeframes. And this comes back to me all the way back to my 15-minute time frame, right? And then I go into my daily. So as I'm working through, I'm looking to where the VWAP's coming in and where my momentum waves are all in unison, right? So in unison, I'm anticipating the VWAP crossover coming up. This I'm looking for the VWAP to bounce off of the zero line, right? So the zero line is
Mm-hmm.
kind of like the very key to all of my trading kind of strategies. I'm always looking to where price is going to react off the zero line. We go into the 4 hour, right? And for this, it's all about back testing. So if you look here, you get a dip out, you get a dip back in. So I'm looking to anticipate money coming in, and then with the VWAP crossover here. So you can see the VWAP crossover here gave us that initial move this morning. Then we flattened out, and now we're looking for a bounce yet again with money coming back into the market. However, the momentum waves are suggesting a little bit of a bearish divergence. So that's negated, right? So I'm not necessarily looking for a long here. I'm probably looking for a reset of this coming back down and then continuing upwards.
I was going
Okay,
to
so
ask you, how do you handle those mixed signals? Because like there's mixed signals in the market at a number of points, So how do you handle the
mhm.
mixed signal? Do you just kind of go for it sometimes, or you let it
so
cool off and Or you pick a different time frame to
that's a
justify
great
your
question,
delusions, or
man.
what?
Yeah, that's the one, man. So it's like, what is king, and time is king, right? So if my 12 hour is money is coming out, and let's say this VWAP didn't bounce like we just got, right? The VWAP has bounced here, right? You can see that beautiful bounce coming in. You can also see a VWAP trend line here, if you're paying close attention, right? So there's many interesting things with this VWAP, but the higher term time frames are going to be king, right? They're going to be king. So as I work down, the favorability to the move is definitely okay, 8 hour confirmed green dot, right? But VWAP's coming down, looking to reset and bounce. Okay, so I'm looking for this to come down and then bounce, right? So it's translating what's going on here and anticipating for the shorter term time frames, right? So this is a kind of sketchy area that we're in right here, because we didn't really get a clear higher high here. So this isn't necessarily a big bear div, right? So it's more of like a flag, in my opinion. So we'll see how this plays out. It could be even an ascending triangle, but that's just to kind of guide me onto what's this is telling me. So this morning I can go through my morning trade.
Yeah, please do.
And I believe CF got long here. Like, what a G. I mean, I'm not up till 12 o'clock at night. So, I mean, I go to bed pretty
That's
early.
been
I'm
lately,
in,
man. I wake up in the
right?
morning and I'm like, oh, the Chinese move the
and
market.
the move,
These degens and the Chinese are moving the markets while I'm sleeping, man.
It's so true, man. It's so true. I'm not awake for that.
I'm trying to live a Chad lifestyle over here, Alex, and I keep having to. It's a very expensive lifestyle. I gotta pay for filet mignons 3 times a week. I gotta miss all these moves in the market, man. It's like not even worth it, man.
Right. It's so true, man. It's so true. It's like, man, you wake up and you're like, you're here at a golden pocket, right? So I do like fibs of confluence, right? So you're here at a golden pocket last night, and we're like, I gave this signal. I'm like, guys, if you want to take, I'm going to bed. If you want to take this, is probably a good idea, right? So the guys, the guys this morning, they're laughing, right? Because they're in and they know I'm not in yet, right? And then we're getting this rise up, and I'm like, okay, here comes the fake out, right? But we consolidated sideways and we back retested here. So if we get into the nitty gritty, as I call it, on the, like, I'll go all the way down to the 3 minute for an entry. Like, I'm pretty savage that way, where I don't really care. So we had this one wick here, and this is where I got in right here this morning, right off of this retest. So the tell was right when market was just before it opened. It swept the little liquidity here, right? So it did this thing here. So that was my indication for the continuation of this pump here. So I got in here. But what happened? VWAP cross, or money flow crossover on a short time frame, right? And then the VWAP bouncing really aggressively right here, as you can see
You got
here.
an anchor trigger set up there too. Like it was like all basic.
And then you got
stuff.
that beautiful continuation here.
Yeah. Damn.
Right? That's the one, right? So it's very simple. If you can read this, right? Like initially it will be like hieroglyphics. I'm not gonna lie to you, right? But it's just, it bangs every time, man. And there's so many multiple confluences throughout, right? So if you're watching stuff like this, like it's going to pay you, right? Market Cipher, I mean, initially I was like, man, I love this thing. There's so many copycats out there, and they're not the same, man. I can tell you that 100%, that like they're not the same. And I bit the bullet and I paid for it, and it paid me back like right away. Like it's ridiculous how quick it paid me back, right? So understanding the way money flows, and the way like you got to be able to read price action. I think that's key. But you can also see, like, it's very like, okay, momentum's coming up, right? Anchor, mini anchor. Like if it doesn't come below this, below, I have it at 55. If it doesn't come below there, I call it like a mini anchor. But and then trigger, right? Kaboom, you're off to the races, right? So that's the thing is with Market Cipher, it's not only it helps you predict, but it helps you get out as well, right? So you can see here that you're peaking out here, and then you come down nicely, right? So it's being able to read it, but it's also being able to use it as a prediction tool as well. I think that's what gives it a lot of edge once you get used to reading it. The prediction that it can give you of which way the market's going to go is is bar none, right?
That's so good, man. Good stuff. I always like talk about in my live streams how like every trade starts the same, whether it's a scalp or a swing. You start on those big time frames and you get the environmental read, and Market Cipher's huge for that. On the daily, the weekly, the 5-day, the 2-week, all those big time frames, Market Cipher is giving you very, very strong environmental readings. And you want to go on to the medium time frames to plan a trade, and you want to find something that agrees with that higher time frame bias. And so Market Cipher is also helping you with the planning aspect of the trade. But then when you zoom into the execution aspect, like where do I actually enter? Where do I actually exit? You see those tiring signs on the small time frames, and you see the signs of momentum building, you know, for either longs or shorts. It goes both directions in the market.
Absolutely.
You see the signs that help you with the execution. What I'm seeing here is like you don't really have much amidst the candlesticks in terms of indicators. You really are like a true momentum trader, Alex. Like it's interesting to see because a lot of people have issues with just using the Market Cipher B waves. They tend to employ some sort of trend bias or like an EMA or fib lines, or like basically like they employ traditional technical analysis to the candlesticks, or they'll use the other tools of Market Cipher like the DBSI or A or SR. But a lot of like the analysis you do is like strictly with the waves, which means that you're really good at reading these waves, man. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. No, I love like for me it's in and out and quick. And like there's like big moves as well. Like we caught this move from here. And we caught a couple of longs from here as a community all the way back up here. And it was like one thing I do like is the head and shoulders on my, like I had to point this out, but this head and shoulders on the 6 hour we caught as a community. And that was like, my God, man, pay me, bro. Like it was a stupid amount of money, right?
An otter claw, dude. Look at that thing. Look at that, man. You know, where'd the otters come from, man? What's the otter thing, man?
Oh man, the otter story, man. So it was like we were there was a whole bunch of us being degens as we were when we first started trading, and we would throw in like the splooshy emoji, like the water sign, right? And we were kind of I would say because we were doing so well, we were kind of making people upset about too much splooshy emojis. And they thought we were being rude. So instead of making splooshy emojis everywhere, we changed it to an otter. And this was like 2 years ago, man. And it stuck. It stuck. Like I didn't create it at all. It was just part of the community. And like there's some guys who've been with me, you know, from day one. And you know, it just stuck. It's the otter gang, man. And it's just how we roll. So whenever we make a nice juicy trade, we just shill the otters in the chat, and my community shows up for me. I think that's one of the greatest gifts about, you know, not only being a profitable trader but being able to share it with a community that shows up for you, right? So dude, I think that's major.
There's like otters, like the otter gang. You're not even in there, and I see all these otters popping up in my chats, man. Like I'm like, oh, it's happening again. But you know, I love that mascot because I mean, the crypto world is kind of seen as like an aquatic ecosystem. Like there's huge fish, there's whales, and then there's the little krill, you know, and like it's fish eat fish, and like for you to be a warm-blooded creature in this
we mammals, bro.
Yeah, you're a warm-blooded creature, but I'm picturing like a happy little otter who's caught a little fish, you know, and he's eating the fin. He's ruthless. He's got sharp teeth. The otter's got sharp teeth, man. He's almost like a I guess like a honey badger, or like it's kind of like a ruthless creature, you know. He's like a step above the beaver, man. He's more ruthless than a beaver. Yeah. But you teach people how to fish, man. Otters are fishermen, and that ties into what we're doing here, man. So
teaching people how to fish.
I can never just see things for what they are. I always like derive extra meaning, and you know, I always see.
No, for sure. There's always more to it, right? And it's it's a privilege to be, you know, part of that crew, right?
Yeah. Okay, so we looked into like what gets you into trades, the signs that you're looking for, just a lot of confluence and basic strategy with Market Cipher B. Let's look at some of these poop coins that we were talking about earlier before we started the spotlight. Like, tell me some of these poop coins you've been getting into, because I'm a Bitcoin maxi, bro. I don't do the research that I need to do. And like, this is why I love my community, because they're always coming at me with like, "Do you see this coin? You see otter with hat, dog with hat, Alexocrypto with hat." I'm like, damn.
Yeah,
Okay, so oh
man.
man, oh my gosh, I'm like
My
flummoxed.
missus, yeah, my missus knitted me a damn whiff hat. Um,
Yeah, man,
but
for
we like
sure.
to have fun. I mean, we get a little bit rowdy, right? But yeah, I was telling the crew that we're gonna buy here, and we're up today big time, right? We were given the injective trade. Like it's all off of the momentum here. You can
Dang.
see it's very
Look
simple,
at that
right?
chart. Look at
So,
that injective chart.
um,
Injecting steroids. Is they're on
right,
steroids.
yeah, but like so good, right? Yeah, and we flipped through. I don't know if this will go into our chat here. Maybe I can pull it off to the side quickly beforehand. But yeah, like even in the Discord, like we always share everything. We have multiple traders in here who are sharing, but like we've been crushing it with the injective trade, like what I just showed you, right? Like it's constant alpha, right? That we are constantly sharing with everybody, making major calls, right? With key levels and where to buy and all that stuff as well. And and just recently, like there's the testimonials of just like everybody in our crew, right? And like everybody's just it's overwhelming for me because I just wanted to press buy and sell and make a good living, and kind of break away from that 9 to 5 swinging of a hammer, right? But like these guys have stood by me, and they're all like market cipher freaks, right? And we all helping each other make that money, right? And
Do you want to
breaking
show
away.
inside the Discord? You want to pop under the hood and show us what you got cooking in there? Or?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So like for me, we have our otter talk, the main one, where look, we got an otter
Let
riding
me
a black
see. I
swan.
just see I just see the chart for now on the
Okay,
screen.
let me
Change like
let me get
application in the Discord.
it here.
You have an otter on your microphone. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's a fuzzy otter. My missus got it for me. Oh man, she's good. Where is the Discord? Here it is. Yeah, so you should be able to see it here.
Sweet. Oh,
We were
there's more
talking about
otters.
a Black Swan event coming up, right? And I'm like, I mean, it's banter, man. We're like, um, we'll see an otter riding a swan, and people are putting black swans to buy on Amazon. Like it's
This is the conversations we need to have.
right. And then they got people are putting otters on. This is recent, like this is just now. But then we have 4 TA sections, right? Smart Money Concepts Trader, a Breakout Trader. Like these guys also have their own communities, but they've just out of the kindness out of their heart, because of what we're building, they just give free setups as well. And then I give all my setups, my buys, like I tell them when I'm buying and everything like that, what I'm looking for. Like this was the call on that head and shoulders pattern I just talked to you about.
Yeah.
Right. So like banging, right? It's just banging. We were ready, right? As a community, everybody just going nuts, right? And pointing things out along the way, like the CME gaps and stuff like that. But we also give the trade setups as they come, right? And as they present themselves. Even this morning, like giving that injective trade that we were talking about, that was given in advance this morning too, right? So looking at that, boom, there it is, right? Perfect little setup. So I mean, we're giving it away, and it's about creating that community, right? I mean, having a bunch of like-minded people around you is where it's at. But then like all these testimonials of like people
Wow,
saying this is their home,
wow.
right? Gratitude to this incredible community you've built, and it's like it's kind of like my altruistic venture, bro, like to give back and help people create that kind of that environment, right?
You're definitely a really good leader, Alex. A lot of teachers and leaders, I mean, there's different styles of direction that people crave. Some people want to get yelled at, like they want like Andrew Tate to yell at him and call him broke, They want to basically like feel like they're kind of imprisoned and they need that hard structure. But a lot of that stuff ends up being like negative manifestation. Like as you start figuring out and you're more at peace with your soul and happy with your life and stuff, like you start gravitating towards more overall positive messaging, and it's not cheesy anymore. Like, you see the value in just maintaining a positive frame for your people and just being like
Hmm.
like inspirational, motivational, and positive all the time. And that's an energy
Yeah.
that radiates out, and you definitely embody that, man.
Well, thank you.
It comes, I don't know what it comes from, man, but maybe you had a good education or you were just raised right. But those are the qualities of a leader, someone who's not manifesting negative and making enemies with people. You're someone who
Hmm.
draws people in, and you make people stay and listen because you're a positive voice in the space. And it's funny, like, people think in this world you have to be like, cruel or power hungry, or I don't even know the word, man, but honestly,
Yeah,
like,
I know what you're getting at.
the marketplace pays what's scarce, and what's scarce in this world is compassion and empathy, and solid
Kindness,
positive
man.
leadership and kindness. Yeah, and so I have
Yeah,
this very strong opinion that the market's reward, money flows toward positivity, compassion, empathy, and just overall positivity. So, I mean,
that's where I'm
you and
at
I are
too,
in the
man.
same boat, and I've been working on it. This is something like
It's not easy. That it's not
it ain't
meant to
easy
be
being
easy,
cheesy,
right?
man.
You
It
get
ain't
a you
easy.
get a you get a troll in your Discord, and you like back in the day. Like I grew up downtown in the city, and like you had to spend for yourself, kind of deal, right? Single mom life and all that stuff, and like the only thing that kept you alive is being able to fight and and hiding your lunch money, kind of deal, right? So I mean,
Yeah.
like from that it was like it was just like, how could you kill them with kindness, right? And you get a troll in your comments, and all you could do is laugh, right? Because they're probably hurting a lot more than you are, right? And that's typically where negative energy comes from, right? But it is hard to stay positive when it is a process of practicing kindness, right? I try to share a positive message on Twitter every morning. I always read one every morning to try and get my mindset, because I have a very strict like routine when I get to the charts on how I go through my trading process and how I really identify where I'm at, how to trade. I act as if I'm lost every morning. So like I'm like, okay, where am I at? Like, what do you do when you call someone on the phone and you're lost? The first question they ask you is, where are you? Right? So I have to identify where I'm at, and I do that in my charts and in my day every morning to try to bring the best out of me, right? And to kind of punch fear in the face. That's kind of how I've always done this, because this is like, I'm a carpenter. I'll go build a house, no problem. Like I'm doing a basement renovation right now as we speak, while trading, while running a community, right? However, it's like, how do I get through that? Well, I just take action, right? And by taking action over and over again, I get some pretty awesome results by just being consistent
Hmm.
and staying true to my word and showing up for people, right? And it's paid off.
I noticed that too, man. There was a couple of days, because I made a promise to myself and to Market Cipher that I was going to stream like 5 days a week, and there were days that, like, I look at the price and I'm like, ugh, it's like you almost want to bury your head in the sand like a dodo bird, and like not. But then those were the best streams. That was the time where everyone else in the markets was feeling exactly what I felt, and by digging
Yeah,
into that and honing in on that, we were able to discern truth and stuff. And so, yeah, it's like those points in the market that are the toughest to deal with. That's when the most value and the most the best work is done. And that says
absolutely.
something about motivation. Like, when you wake up in the morning and it's like, I really don't want to do this. That's precisely when you need to do it. That's what discipline is.
Yeah,
And just like with courage and bravery, like if you're afraid to do something but you do it anyways, like, well, then that makes, you're not afraid anymore. That's courage right there. It's doing what you're afraid to do and still doing it anyways. So I
absolutely.
appreciate your courage, man. I appreciate you tackling the markets like consistently, and helping our users, and just
Yeah, I'll always
being
show up for them, right? And I mean, it's also about tools, right? So like, getting back to a market site for just a little bit, like in relation to carpentry, like if you have good hands and you're a good worker, right? If you have shit tools, you're gonna still just produce kind of good work.
yeah.
You need good tools. I'm not gonna go use my little Ryobi from Canadian Tire and hope for the the dovetail joints to fit nice and perfectly, right? I'm going to need a nice fest tool or a nice kind of tool in order to achieve those results. And it's just like having market cipher, right? You can go with an RSI, you can use other tools, but if you want to produce better work, produce more money, you want to use the best tools at your disposal, right? So I think not only having knowledge and but also having good tools to apply that knowledge with is exactly what market cipher has given me, right? I'm no longer using a screwdriver, I got a drill, right?
I would argue that using a regular RSI is like just hammering and nailing with your skull. That's just like bending it. You're just bending at the hips, just like those bird block things, you know? You're
palm
just
smacking it. Yeah.
That's not gonna work, man. You need
Right.
if you're gonna use oscillators, you want a good, you want an all-encompassing thing, so you can see all the oscillators all in agreement.
Yeah.
All down below at the bottom of the chart. That's what Market Cipher
And dude, it
does,
loads so fast, so it's so good for like showing people like levels at different times. And it's like, look how like you just flip through this, it's there, right? It's there. So I'm like, okay, how do I do this? 15-minute, okay, that's looking good. What's the 10-minute saying? Okay, a little bit here, coming down. RSI is turning red here. Might want to consider not going long. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like it's so quick. Like, and you got to be fast in these markets if you want to profit from them.
Definitely. Okay, so what would you say is like, do you have like a main lesson for someone who's looking to get into trading and like particularly trading with Market Cipher? Like, what's the main lesson that you've running your community that you would say like you've been having to talk about with your people and like driving home? Do you have like a main lesson like that?
Yeah, my main lesson is to learn how to use the bar replay and to draw vertical lines and back tests. So if you want to learn how to trade, you really got to get into it. I would suggest like get into the 1 minute, man. Get into the 1 minute. Open this thing up, rewind this dang thing, right? And start marking out. Okay, long or short, long or short, long or short, right? And where you're looking to get into the markets. And by doing this, you can teach yourself. You can teach yourself how to read the markets, but also how to read market cipher at the same time, right? And by doing this, that's how you maximize your knowledge, right? Until you can know what you're looking for, then what are you bothering with, right? Like the divergences, right? Like immediately I say divergence, look at this. Like it's right in front of your eyes, right? But you got to be able to see it. If you don't see it, what are you doing, right? So, I mean, if you get into that replay tool, right, and you press play, and you watch this thing and you pause it and you be like, okay, what am I seeing there? Look at the reversal. We just put in a higher high now. I'm looking for a comeback, maybe a continuation here, right? Like that's just typical market structure, but unless you can see it, you can't see it, right? And then it's like going through, mark out money flow crossovers. Go through and mark out all your money flow crossovers whenever you go from red to green and back test them, see what they give you, right? Look at this one. This one crossed over to the red. Look at that. Boom. Short, right? This one crossed over to the green. Boom. Long. A little bit late. What came before that? The VWAP crossover right here. So I'm looking for that VWAP crossover, not the money flow crossover in this situation, right? And being able to see that so you get the longevity of that beautiful long trade, right? I also think being able to identify trend is key, right? That's why I always do top-down analysis where I'll start on the daily and go all the way into the 1 hour, 15-minute, because I always believe that trend is number one, right? So right now we're in a long uptrend, right? But we had a little bit of a retrace here. So medium, we could be looking for a possible correction, right? However, short-term time frame suggests that we're moving upwards, right? So it's identifying the trend where you're at and really honing in those skills on being able to read not only the price action in the market, but market cipher along with that, so that you get those juicy setups and make that big bag of money, right?
So the lesson is, if you're getting into this game with MC, is back test, back test, back test, and you want as many things in agreement as possible, and you want to learn how to read those wave divergences, the oscillator divergences, which all of the oscillators in Market Cipher B are capable of divergence, not just the big wave, not just the gray waves that he's got here, but also the money flow can diverge, the RSIs can diverge, the yellow line can diverge. It all it all can disagree with the price, and you think that that is confusing, that the waves are not doing what the price is doing, but that's precisely those are the precise moments where you have trade opportunities when the price is doing something that the waves are not. That's a reckoning that needs
Exactly.
to correct itself. And so that's brilliant advice for our community, Alex. And for the sake of time, you know, we'll kind of cut it here, but like go to your channel real quick, and we'll take a peek at your channel, and let's just get your socials on the video here so everyone knows where to follow you. And then, man, I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. It had been a while since I did a spotlight. I'm really grateful, and I'm gonna keep this ball rolling, and I'm gonna keep elevating people in the space. Like I came back to MC during the ETF decision because there's light that needs to be shown, or whatever the word is, in this ecosystem that we've created. And you're one of the brightest lights in the space, man. The fact that you do what you do from a charitable stance, and you also are generating success, and that you're so positive, that you come from a humble background. You're doing this you're doing this for your family and for your community. So man, no one's deserved this spotlight more than you, Alexocrypto. So go ahead and subscribe to Alexocrypto. This is his channel here. He's gonna be blowing up in the next couple years because he's a total G. Are you on you're on Twitter as well? Do you have like a Twitter
Yeah,
handle?
absolutely. Alexocrypto.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, man.
I'm addicted to saying Alexocrypto,
I love,
man.
man. When you guys go crypto, I go. I start laughing, man. I love it, man.
I start rubbing my hands too, man.
We're here to make money, Alexocrypto. Let's go. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So there's a
Yeah, it's Alexocrypto with a 0 at the end instead of an O.
Yeah,
for
and
Twitter.
if you make an Instagram, then I'll do a short for us too, man, and I'll like we'll collab it so we can at least get your Instagram going. So let me know after this call. We'll get that set up too, so that you're everywhere.
We got to get on the gram.
And you're not on TikTok or nothing, right? You don't do TikTok dances or
no.
Oh man, no otter dances, man. Oh, that's okay, Alexocrypto. Well, thank you so much, man. Man, this was a good one. I know that the people will like this. I'm gonna double post. I'm gonna post it on the Market Cipher channel, which I made for my brother, for his indicator, for our MC community, so that they have a way to get information about Market Cipher that's isolated from just CryptoFace, because he's got his own style. But Market Cipher deserves its own channel, its own space, and so that's what this Market Cipher channel is for. But I'm proud of my work, and I love the friends that I'm making doing these spotlights. So I'm going to post this on my Nick Cipher YouTube as well. But yeah, go ahead and follow Alexocrypto. He live streams like damn near every day. He's putting out setups all the time. Really good guy to follow. So go ahead and do that. Any closing statements?
That's it, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, Monday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's when I go live. And yeah, very grateful to Mark Cipher for taking me on and making me part of the family, man. It's awesome.
Good to have you aboard, man. Thank you.